Today, we're diving into the Persuasion Playbook. We're going to figure out exactly how to craft a presentation that does more than just share information. We're talking about one that actually changes minds and sticks with people long after you're done speaking. I mean, think about it. Why do some ideas totally change the world, while others just fizzle out? It's the kind of question that probably keeps a lot of us up at night, right? You have this brilliant idea, but how do you make sure it actually lands? How do you make it unforgettable? Well, that's what we're here to break down. Okay, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll dig into the core problem. Then, we'll cover starting with your audience, using the power of rhetoric to craft your message, making your slides really amplify what you're saying, and finally, how to put it all together on the path to mastery. All right, let's jump right in with a fundamental challenge. There's this really dangerous myth that a great idea is all you need. But the hard truth? Brilliant ideas fail. Every single day. And here's the kicker. The gap between an idea that's forgotten and one that starts a revolution, it's usually not the idea itself. It's the delivery. A brilliant concept that's poorly communicated is like a jet engine with no fuel. It's got all this amazing potential, but it is going absolutely nowhere. So that delivery, it always has to start in the same place. Before you write a single word, before you even think about opening up a slide deck, you have to begin with the people you are trying to reach. This is such a simple but totally profound rule from the communications experts at Dorte. It's so easy to fall into this trap, right? We build presentations for ourselves based on what we find interesting. But real persuasion, that starts with empathy. It's about stepping out of your own shoes and into the world of your audience. So how do you actually build that empathy? A tool like this audience needs map is perfect. It forces you to get past the basics and ask the really critical questions. Who are these people really? Why do they even show up? What's their biggest pain point? And the most important question of all, how can you solve it for them? Answering these is the bedrock of your entire presentation. Okay, once you really understand your audience, then you can focus on how you're going to talk to them. This is where we get into the art of rhetoric, choosing just the right words to make your message persuasive. I love this quote. It's the perfect way to think about this. Without these tools, your message might be accurate, sure, but it's gonna lack life. It's the difference between a pencil sketch and a masterpiece. Rhetorical devices add the color that makes your ideas really come alive. So what exactly are these things? Well, rhetorical devices might sound a little academic, but they're really just proven strategies for using language to make an argument more convincing. They're the tools of the trade for any great communicator. Let's look at a couple of really powerful ones. First up is pathos, which is all about appealing to emotion. This is about going beyond just facts and figures to find a real human connection. It's the story that gives your data meaning, the anecdote that makes some big abstract concept feel personal and real. Another fantastic tool is antithesis. This one creates a huge impact through contrast. You basically place two opposite ideas right next to each other, and that structure, that tension, makes a phrase incredibly memorable. You hear these all the time. Go big or go home. No pain, no gain. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. These phrases stick in our brains because that sharp contrast makes the idea crystal clear and super easy to recall. And then there's anaphora. This one is all about strategic repetition. By starting a few sentences or clauses in a row with the exact same word or phrase, you build this incredible rhythm that drives your point home with so much force. And this is probably the most famous example in history. Churchill's repetition of "we shall fight" creates this escalating, unstoppable rhythm of determination. It transforms a simple list into this unforgettable declaration of resolve. That, right there, is the power of anaphora. So, you've understood your audience, you've crafted your words. Now, how do you make your visuals work for you instead of against you? This is where we have to talk about slides. 3 seconds. What could possibly be so important about just 3 seconds? Well, everything. This is the glance test, a simple but brilliant rule from Nancy Duarte. The logic comes straight from neuroscience. Our brains can either listen to you or they can read your slides, but they can't do both at the same time. If a slide takes more than 3 seconds to understand, they stop listening to you and they start reading. And just like that, you've lost. Oh yeah, we've all seen this slide. Let's be honest, we've probably all made it too.
It's packed with text, filled with a million competing ideas. It completely bombs the glance test. It's trying to be a teleprompter for the speaker and a handout for the audience, and it fails miserably at both.
Now, by contrast, a great slide is clean, it's visual, and it has a single, clear takeaway. It passes the glance test instantly. Here's the key. A great slide doesn't contain the message, it amplifies it. It creates this powerful 1-2 punch of what your audience sees and what they hear from you.
So we have the building blocks. We know our audience, we've crafted the message, and we've designed our visuals. But how do you go from just knowing the rules to truly mastering them? What's the real difference between a good speaker and a great one?
Well, there's this huge myth of the natural speaker. Someone who just strolls on stage and is effortlessly brilliant. This quote about Steve Jobs just shatters that idea. His legendary keynotes felt like magic, sure, but they were the result of painstaking, obsessive preparation. He cared about every single tiny detail. And that's really the secret. Great communication isn't some talent you're born with. It's a skill. It's a skill built on rigorous preparation, just like Jobs. It's forged through consistent practice. And most importantly, it comes from believing that this is something anyone, and I mean anyone, including you, can build. So, we end right where we begin. You have an idea that deserves to be heard. You have something worth sharing. The only question left is, how are you going to make it unforgettable?